Continuing our look into technology in professional cycling, from the aero to the carbon, we turn our focus to the new Specialized Tarmac. In the build-up to what had to be considered one of the most hotly anticipated Tour de France in recent years, the Californian bike company who supply the bikes for 3 of the 18 World Tour teams must have felt they're in a strong position to take glory in both the mountain and sprint stages. But with the departure of 2 of their big contenders, Contador and Cavendish, things were not looking good early in the Tour. It wasn't long, however, before the world cycling media turned their attention to one man, Vincenzo Nibali. Showing skill and commitment, he rode to victory, becoming only the 6th man ever to win all 3 Grand Tours. The master tactician and descender deservedly took yellow and never looked back. Specialized's meticulous approach and reputation for being hands-on in supporting their teams offered ample testing so that each of their riders could feel comfortable on their bike. And with the likes of Contador, Cavendish, Martin, Bonen and Nibali all in their portfolio, they have a vast array of skills and expertise to call upon when it comes to making the marginal gains. But not only do they have their teams and engineers, also partnerships outside of cycling, partners like McLaren.
So the relationship goes back to around about the end of 2010. McLaren's passionate about design and technology, and applied technology works in a lot of different areas, and medical and energy, but sports and consumer products is one of the areas we wanted to expand into, and bikes were an obvious parallel to Formula 1 cars.
The partnership has brought about a number of innovative designs over the last 4 years, more recently their newest Pro Tour frame, the Tarmac.
Our engineers work very closely with the riders to gather feedback, gain insights, and constantly work on product improvements. And specifically to the Tarmac, we've worked very closely with riders such as Alberto Contador, and he's constantly giving us feedback. And some of the feedback that he had given us from the Tarmac SL4 was that the bike felt, in his size, a 54, very harsh on the descents and a little too stiff in the front end or through choppy corners or rough roads. And at the same time, we had riders, larger riders, saying that they thought that the bike could use a little bit more snap to it, a little bit more precise steering feeling, and that kind of sparked this idea of rider first engineered and looking at the frames on a size-by-size basis.
With the help of McLaren, Specialized have approached the design of their new bike differently than in the past.
The thing about if you go out and record data on a road, out on the streets, or the data is really chaotic. So we tend to make sure that we collect very real, very relevant data and very accurate data, and we build experiments to do that. But we also have labs here that can reconstruct roads on the bike. So I think we've done work where we've actually replayed the vibrations of a road through the bike while the rider's actually on the bike, and that allows us to actually engineers to stand around the bike for us to allow to collect data, and that's really how we work in a lot of automotive projects.
What we learned with rider first engineering is that scaling and difference across the size range needed to be much more drastic. It needed to be much more drastic than we had originally believed. And so if you look at the sizes now, like if you look at a 49 centimeter, the down tube on the bike is about 45 millimeters in diameter. When you get up to a 61 centimeter, it's about 65 millimeters in diameter. So there's a big difference in the tube shaping across the size range.
This approach is new within the cycling industry. In celebration of this partnership, a limited edition version of the bike, based on the 2014 Tarmac, was released. 10% lighter than its brother, its maiden voyage came at the biggest race of them all, the Tour de France. One frame was given to each Specialized team for a selected rider to use, and one beneficiary of this was Tinkoff-Saxo rider Nicholas Roche.
I definitely love the way it steers, when you're on a descent. It's super precise, and I'm really enjoying those technical bits with it.
I think behind the scenes, the teams have worked really, really well together to produce these simulation models of bikes. So we've taken a world where bikes used to be designed subjectively into a world which is more familiar to Formula 1, which is virtual design, and that allows us to iterate much faster and have a greater understanding of the product that we're designing. And I think that's one of the biggest successes really that the teams are actually most proud of.